And when you have to sit in your house and the only, like, you can only go to the grocery store so many times. When only the grocery store is open, there's only so many times that you can go to the grocery store and to get away from it all, right? And so, what I realized very early in this process of the pandemic was that if I'm going to be forced to sit here, I need to sit here and I need to work through what I needed to work through. And I'm not telling you that I am healed. I think healing is a forever process. I'm coming to learn that now, that healing is going to always be taking place. But at least I've started to clear out some of those closets in my mind and in my heart, the boxes in the closets that that have been easier to leave packed. You know how when you move, I've done a lot of moving in my lifetime. You know how when you move and you get your whole house unpacked because you're like, I can't live in clutter. I can't live with these boxes. I can't, this has to get done now. And so you clear all the boxes and the stuff. But there's always one or two boxes that you're like, those can stay. Right? You're like, those can stay. And those boxes, they stay. You might like have them out for a little while. And then you're like, I'm still not ready to unpack those boxes. So just go ahead and put those in the closet, or you put them out in the garage. And you're like, I'll get to it, right? And then every time you open that closet or every time you open that garage, you see that box and you're like, damn, that box is still here. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it one day. I'm going to get to it. I know I need to do it. But I'll get to it. And then you close the closet again and you forget about that box. And then 6 months go by and you're like, damn, that box is still here. I still need to, okay, I'm going to come back. This isn't a good week, but I'm going to come back to that box, right? And then a year goes by and that box is still there. And then at that point, you're like, well, I mean, I haven't touched whatever's in there in a year anyway, so it can stay. But you don't want to throw it away because you know the stuff that's in there is important, right? You're not willing to take the entire box and toss it out in the garbage. You have to go through it. You know that you have to go through it. Well, that's what I was experiencing in 2020 with my healing, is that I had these boxes that I had tucked away. And because I had tucked them away, I could still carry on, right? Like my life still looked good. Things were working. Everything I needed, I had at hand. I didn't have to go pull something out of the box. But that box needs to go. Like at some point, it has to be unpacked. And so 2020 is the year that I've been able to sit down and unpack the things that have been in those last two boxes. And now that I've cleared them, mostly. There's still some shit in there. Before I get too high up on my preacher's pedestal, there's still some shit in there. But I'm able to now navigate again when I'm talking about creating this life, like creating the life that I want to live on my terms, being able to go back and clear those boxes out and work on what's there, work on some of these emotional wounds that I've had, work on some of these the self-inflicted things that I don't even know. I can't get into it because it's too personal. But you know what I'm talking about. You know there's stuff that we do that it's like, girl, ain't nobody else doing this to you but you. Nobody else is doing this to you but you. That stuff. I had to go in and clear that stuff out. And now I'm in a better place, right? I'm in a better place. I'm not in the best place. Like I said, I don't consider myself all the way healed, but stuff is cleared up because I've been able to clear those boxes out, those projects that I told you about that I didn't see starting for another year or two from now. That's where that energy and that space and the time and the focus comes from, because you get that junk out of your mind and out of your heart and out of your whatever space, and then you can focus more. You can put that energy towards something. So that toward what you want it to go through towards something that you intend, that is a lot more intentional for your energy to be spent on, right? For the good to happen, for the good to occur, for the outcome that you're looking for to present itself within your life. So that's where I am in 2020, just kind of, on a personal level. I started seeing a new therapist. I have a whole team, y'all. I have a Reiki therapist. I love her so much. I have she does Reiki, and she does counseling and all that stuff. And so I found her back in 2016 when I was in a really bad place. 2016 is the year that I realized I had to walk away from working in medicine. I tore my whole little world up. And so she's been with me ever since. So I have been in touch with her like crazy through 2020. I have a therapist that I have been working with for years, almost since I moved to Houston. She helped me a lot through like my transition to Houston, and then my divorce, and just like managing my professional life. She's been such a beautiful guide for me. But I also picked up a new therapist. Y'all gonna be like, Anya need a lot of help over there. Anya does need a lot of help over here. And I am finally in a place where I'm not ashamed to be like, girl, get all the help so we can move this stuff out the way and move forward with the life that I want to live. But I found this new therapist who is also a life coach. And so she does like life coaching, and all. She's bomb. She does all types of stuff. And so it was with her that I realized a place that I was stuck financially. And I brought it up, like I didn't even intend for it to be a topic. I think like I said one little thing as an aside, and she honed in on that, and she was like, "What are you doing? What are you talking about? Let's figure that out." And so we did. We hammered in on it, and she helped me realize that like, y'all didn't think I had any money, because I was still stuck in, this time last year, like, oh Lord, help us make sure I eat and keep a house over our head. And she helped me realize that I was in a really good position to go ahead and pay off my car. And so I paid my car off in 2020. I did not think that was going to happen this year. And so all of that to say, so I don't want to keep belaboring the point, but what I hope that you are hearing is how this year at the beginning, where I might have thought that this was going to be a wash year or a lost year, that we don't have to look at it like that, right? We don't have to be stuck on this narrative of how horrible this year is. And if it has been a horrible year for you, I'm not in any way trying to invalidate your experience or tell you that you should have been doing other things to make it a not horrible year. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is that this has been an opportunity for me and for a lot of other people that I've been speaking with, in the last couple of weeks, that they realized that the power in being able to be still, right? The power that comes with that, because in being still, we're forced to sit with ourselves if we so choose, and then it helps us clear things out in a way that propels us to navigate life in a different way, or in a way that brings us a lot closer to the things that we want or the outcomes that we want or the situations that we want. And I want to celebrate that. I want to celebrate that for myself first and foremost. I want to celebrate that for you if you are someone who has, these wins, big or small, because quite frankly, just the fact that I am here talking to you, that you're on the other side listening to this, if there's nothing else that we can consider a win for this year, the fact that we're still here and that we're here at our full capacity is enough. Truly is enough. I know I just went down the list of things that I was able to do and have gotten done, but if I didn't, and if all I had was my complete health and sanity, and both of my boys with their complete health and sanity, good, beautiful. You did it 100%. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. Keep your mask on. Do what you know you need to do to stay that way, right? But also, there is space if you are someone who has been teetering on, can I really do it? I don't know if this is the right time. I don't know if this is really for me. This doesn't really make sense right now. People are suffering, and I'm talking about starting a XYZ business, and it's not really that important right now. Just sit down again. Just sit down again and listen to what your spirit tells you to do. That's 2020, y'all. That's 2020. I do want to talk about what intercultured. So intercultured going forward is going to look it's going to look a little bit different. It's going to sound a little bit different from what my original intention was. So if you've been hanging with me since the beginning, what I wanted for Intercultured was to be this culturally diverse space where we are talking to mothers from all different cultures, and whether those cultures were ethnic and racial cultures to all the different subgroups that we find ourselves in, right? Like I was in the military, so military mamas and our sports mamas and working mothers and stay-at-home moms and so all of the ways, like all of our own intersections, that there's a great deal for us to learn from one another when we come into space together to share those stories and perspectives that maybe we wouldn't have had somewhere else. That's the original intention for the Intercultured with Anya Dula podcast. 2020 has changed that tremendously for me. And I'm now in a place where Intercultured with Anya Dula will be Black woman, mother centered. Because what 2020 has taught me, what 2020 has taught me is that a lot of people still have us fucked up. And that's just, there's no other way around it. A lot of people still have Black women and Black mothers, just really confused about who we are and what we do and our importance in, and I won't even, because I was about to take a whole turn. It's going to be a whole other segment. But there's just, again, the value